Hey guys, so this is the second video in my series on how I'm protecting myself on my blog from any legal issues or legal worries. Today I want to talk to you about how I'm using royalty-free images for my blog and things that I'm trying to avoid when using royalty-free images. As with the previous video, this is not legal advice at all. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I'm not a lawyer. I can't give you legal advice. I could be 100% wrong about a lot of this. So just take that as this is what I'm doing, not any recommendations to you. So in this video, I'm going to outline four things. Where to get royalty-free images, common pitfalls or problems people come up against, how to protect yourself, and how to keep what I'm calling an image inventory. Okay, so where you can get images from. The three most common places are Unsplash, Pixabay, and Pexels. Now, the reason I use these three, and they overlap a lot, you'll find the same images on all three of them. The reason I use these three is that they're quite well-known agencies that have sort of requirements. If someone uploads a video onto one of these three websites, there are certain requirements that are designed to sort of try to help protect you when you use those images. Those images usually are also free for you to edit, use for commercial purposes, such as a blog that makes money, without having to provide attribution back to the source image. So it's basically a free image that anyone can use and do anything they want with. Again, make sure you check the privacy policies and all the terms of use for each of those websites to make sure that you are compliant with all of their requirements. Some of those images might be premium images, for example, where you would have to pay if you want to use them. But in general, Unsplash, Pixabay, and Pexels, three great sources for finding good images for your website for free. Where I choose not to get them, and I know a lot of friends who do get them from here, so this is just a personal preference thing, remembering that I'm very conservative about these things. I don't use Google Images. I don't even care if it's the Google Images Creative Commons search option. I'm just not even going to go there. That's just a minefield where people can upload anything, change the copyright rules at any point on you, and then you fall, they might put it up, say that it's Creative Commons, anyone can use it, and then 6 months later, change their copyright, and all of a sudden, you're falling foul of copyright laws because of their sort of predatory practices. So I avoid Google Images. I don't want anything to do with it. Wikimedia Commons, it's one that I used to use, and then I have heard stories about people on Wikimedia Commons being predatory as well, where they'll upload a video, it will have Creative Commons rights, but you have to link to their Flickr account, not Wikimedia. So you link to Wikimedia as the source of your text, and then they'll come after you and say, you linked to the wrong source, you did the wrong copyright attribution, now I'm going to sue you. So I avoid that as well because it's just a minefield that I don't want to go down. And then the third one is Flickr. I have used Flickr before, but again, it's just not as well controlled and managed as some of those sites like Pixabay, Pexels, and Unsplash, which have very clear terms of use for people who upload the videos so that you're a little bit more protected. So here's some common problems that you might come across. And copyright trolls are a real issue in our industry. If you're in the industry long enough, you'll get an email from someone saying, you're using my image, I'm going to sue you unless you send me $1,000 tomorrow. And these people are out there actively putting images on the web specifically to hope that you take that image and then put it on your website so they can try to sue you. And they'll do ambiguous or dodgy practices to try to catch you into using the image thinking that you can. And then in the end, they try to sue you because it's just a minefield and people are real jerks about it. So I don't use Creative Commons 2.0 share alike. It's supposed to be that you can use the image, and then as long as you provide the correct attribution, then you're allowed to use it. But sometimes if you do the wrong attribution, and that could just mean simply linking to the wrong page on someone's website, or I don't want to even go down that path. I avoid it. People might say, oh, I've decided to withdraw the Creative Commons share alike attribution. Now it's only, you have to pay for it. And then even though they've changed the copyright, you're in this sort of gray area where you might get in trouble. You need a lawyer to protect you from that sort of stuff. I'm not interested. Thank you very much. I avoid Creative Commons share alike. Trolls intentionally placing those images, as I said before, on these websites and for you to sort of take, and then they use services like Pixie, which is specifically designed to do reverse image searches on the web every single day, so that the minute you upload it onto your website, Pixie's lawyers send you an email saying, "We're suing you." Okay, and so I think I've said everything I need to say about copyright trolls there. Just essentially, I try to avoid anything that has any ambiguity about it. Anything that might be changed in the future, I don't want anything to do with. So how I protect myself? There's 4 things that I'm trying to do. The first one, the most important one, I'm using as few images as humanly possible. On one website, I'm trying to have just 10 images. They're the images on my homepage, where I've got this grid of 9 images, and then 1 feature image. If I've only got 10 images on my website, then that reduces the chances of me getting sued by a hell of a lot. One thing I've noticed is a lot of my websites are monetized through display ads, and often we want to have images to break up these big chunks of text, but the ads break up the text anyway. There's a block of 2 paragraphs and then an ad, 2 paragraphs and then an ad, so it breaks it up, makes it a little bit easier for people to read anyway. So what's the point of having an image? All the image is doing is taking up valuable ad space that you could be making money out of. So I use Canva. So for one of my sites, for example, where I have only these 10 stock images, and in fact, I've swapped a few of them out for photos. I literally just went for a walk one day and took a couple of photos of things and uploaded my own images so that no one can sue me. But for the actual blog post, if I am going to have a featured image, I just put together a Canva image that's just like a square with a frame around it and then a bit of text saying the keyword that I'm using, and then stick that in. If you really think that images are good for SEO, then just stick a Canva image in. It's fine, whatever. I don't really care if my blog posts don't have images. A lot of my blog posts are ranking without images, so as long as I'm ranking first, who cares? And then in the end, I do hopefully at some point, especially because I want to start a website next year that is going to need very specific images. When that comes around, I will use something like AppSumo, which is a bit of software that tells you when there's sort of lifetime deals on things like Shutterstock, those paid image services, and I'll buy a lifetime access to a paid image service just for that added protection as well for that website where I definitely have to have images. Okay. And the last thing is I have an images inventory on all of my websites now. It's linked to in my footer next to my links to my terms of use and my privacy policy and my disclaimer. And inside of it, I have every single image that I use in this table with a photo thumbnail of it, the date that I downloaded it, the attribution. So you can see here, some of these attributions are from Pixabay. I don't even have to put that attribution in, but I do anyway, just because it's nice to have it there. And it's just sort of a little bit of added me trying to be professional about using people's images. And then I have in brackets, see original. I'll talk to you in a second about why I have the original link there. Then I have a link to the copyright license, so I can say this is how I know I can use the website, use the image, and then example pages on the site. So this is from my Niche Safari website, and then I've just got links to all these example pages where I'm using the images. Now, I'll go back to this in brackets see original. The reason I have that see original is every 6 months, I go back through and I click on see original and make sure that that image that I took from Pixabay or from Unsplash or wherever I took it from is still on Pixabay or Unsplash. So that if someone withdraws their image, I don't know how it might work, but if that image disappears from Pixabay one day, I'm going to get rid of it myself, because I always want, if someone says, why are you using that image? You're not allowed to use that image. I can say, hey, it's live on Pixabay right now, and it says on that page that I can use it for free without attribution. And if it's not live on Pixabay, I'm going to get rid of it. So I've got this image inventory. It really helped me to make sure that I knew exactly where all of my images were from, and it makes it really easy for me to go back every 6 months and check to make sure that I know that the images are still active on Pixabay and I can still legally use them. So they're all the ways that I'm protecting myself from image copyright. At the end of the day, it is a minefield. A lot of people get hit with these stupid lawsuit things where you have to pay $1,000 to get them to go away. So you're better off just using minimal images as possible and making sure that you can track where all of your images come from at all times and quickly go back and make sure that the source of the image is still in that original source on Pixabay or wherever it is. And then you're hopefully a bit more protected and you can get on with creating your blog, stress-free and not having to worry about issues like getting sued or anything like that.